Nice team fight, but they have to be careful they don't put all of their eggs in one basket, because it's going to be pretty easy for the side of Beast Coast to do a lot of skirmishing back and forth.
Before we well, it looks like we're going to get into a little bit of a fight. First, Whisper AFK. All right, he did get the stun across. He could get gushed and die, but S4 not skilling yet. Really wants to start with Anchor Smash for his laning stage, and that's going to keep Whisper alive. So, sorry, I'm laughing. Just look at the
RTZ.
Look at the dire base.
Yeah,
RTZ has had a really bad beating in the fountain. It's a right eye on the stairs. Oh, that's too good.
That's always so fun. I like the Sunspan spray. I try to make him as much of an abomination as possible in my games.
That one's great too.
Look at that! Look at that beautiful, beautiful man.
It's the little things.
It really is.
All right, so Rune Spawn's about to come up. Obviously, Alliance have shown their hand by going aggressive into the enemy triangle area. And that is going to prompt Stinger to try to steal Alliance's rune at the bottom, and he will be successful. So looking more than likely as a 2 for 2. No, actually 3 for 1. S4 managed to click the rune faster than K1, so Zoomer fingers. Well, taking a solid beating here on the way out, though. Stinger with the Orb of Venom is really going to town with Reflection. He's almost killing him.
Yeah, he might actually. Do you think he goes for a dive? No, he's just going to back off. But there is no salve on the Tidehunter. Is going to be forced to munch through those tangos.
If Astral Spirit hadn't run out, that could have potentially been a kill, actually. But obviously has a finite duration, fortunately, or this hero would be utterly broken. We see Hanskin bottom lane. The classic offlane shaker play. He fissures the wave to pull the wave closer to his own tower, and that is going to push the wave for Beast Coast, meaning that S4 will get safe experience in that tower range as he has been walking back to receive a salve from the courier. And now Hanskin is going to try to block small camp, so Stinger, first of all, can't pull, and secondly, doesn't get the benefit of these creeps for his Astral Spirit. But of course, the big camp will be open.
No, you can only block so many camps unless you have obs right now or more bodies, so Stinger's still going to be able to get some of that damage, but very smart move coming out from Hanskin. You don't want to allow those extra units for him to walk through. Schofield, though, I mean, this is the fun of playing Silencer, is you can really be very annoying and harass quite a bit early on, so he is going to have to back off. And the mid lane is the Limp versus Chris Luck, and fairly even here. Looks like Chris Luck getting a slightly better CS at this time.
Yeah, I would say this lane is slightly Lina favored. Now, after Lina received a couple of nerfs, might be better for Leshrac, but I would still imagine Lina gets a minor advantage. Primarily because she has slightly better base damage, so denying is something that she does much better than Leshrac. You can see right now, Lina with the 64 plus 2 damage against Leshrac's 55 plus 2, so that's just a flat 9. Will give her a couple of denies, as you're seeing here, 12 and 3 against the 9 and 0 of Limp, which is also a good sign for Beast Coast. I don't know if Limp has lost a lane this tournament, really. So if they can get off to a head start in mid and maybe even get Chris Lucas a kill at some point on Limp, that would definitely maybe throw Alliance a little bit off of their comfort, out of their comfort zone for the tournament so far.
I mean, you can see also down in the bot lane with S4, he's kind of struggling to have to deal with this Elder Titan as he's consistently having to use his regen.
Has got 2 in the Kraken Shell now, though. That should actually make Reflection pretty much useless. I think he blocks that fully at this point with the 2 in Kraken. And obviously will also be mitigating quite a bit of ET's damage. But fortunately for ET, he is still one of the better heroes at dealing with Kraken Shell because the damage is just that overwhelming. And forcing S4 again now down to 200 health. And none of them have any regen. The courier for Tide is AFK at the tower, waiting to buy, I would assume, Ring of Health. Yep, so needs 1 more CS to get that. And that will be a big help for S4. But they're trying to squeeze out whatever advantage they can now while S4 is low. And have done a pretty damn good job bottom so far.
Yeah, they also managed to get themselves a snipe over on Ector's Courier, so he doesn't have that, doesn't have the Band of Elven Skin, so it's going to make things a little bit more difficult for him, but just trading a bit back and forth over here with the Tide. Hanskin doing the best that he can to be as annoying as possible. Does take some damage, though, from those creeps. Looking for the stomp. Land again.
I think S4 is completely safe except for meta. Like, he can potentially die to meta, But now that he has Ring of Health, he's going to be having a much better time, so that's good news for Alliance down there. In the top lane, you touched on it briefly. You're playing double ranged against Sand King, which is traditionally really, really good. As long as you have sentries, Sand King can't stay in his Sandstorm. The pressure becomes insurmountable. But he has been doing a good job, and he has opted for the Tranquil Boots here, which I think is kind of uncharacteristic for Sand Kings in this patch on position 3. Like, you will do it sometimes, but a lot of the time Sand Kings will either opt to go for something like a Veil, or they will go for the Blink, or in other cases, maybe even the Arcane Boots into something else. A lot of the time, these Tranks don't offer that much value because they get broken all the time, but in a lane like this, it's really about the downtime when you're not touching anyone that is going to help him a great deal.
A little bit of a skirmish down here in the bottom lane. Nothing too wild. But yeah, like you were saying, that top lane. Man, look at the damage that Stinger can just output here on this Elder Titan.
Yeah. And this is with level 1 Astral Spirit. He chose to go for a 1-1-1 build. If he had gone 1-2-0, this damage would look way scarier. Because the amount of armor he's mitigating from Tide and Shaker is more or less negligible, right? He removes a bit of their base armor, but they have so little anyway that I think a second point in Astral strictly for this situation would be better, but he's obviously building this for the future in the game. Having many points in natural order is incredible to play with for both Lina and Sand King. The magic resistance reduction is awesome. Speaking of... Oh, hang on. Limp? Ah, nothing there. Speaking of magic, the Leshrac against Terrorblade matchup is one we've touched upon earlier this tournament. Historically speaking, Terrorblade pretty good against Leshrac, overwhelms him, deals too much damage, and largely doesn't care about Diabolic Edict because it used to be physical damage. Now that it is pure, Terrorblade has to respect Leshrac quite a bit more because, yeah, the Edict's going to kill you if you don't have multiple illusions up. Good fissure mid.
Luck is going to be cut off.
Oh, they missed the stun! And he missed the stun.
Again. Yeah, everybody's missing stuns here. Schofield coming into the rescue. Hanskin trying to body block. They should be able to get the kill on Chris Luck. He's trying to juke around. He's trapped over in the corner. The Laguna comes out. They'll be able to take down Limp before they can take down Chris Luck.
Really good play under pressure there from Chris Luck, but yeah, that was some... I give that stun casting from both teams. I give it a solid E. That is not a passing grade. It could have been worse. They could have cast it behind themselves. It happens. Sometimes you miss your spells. I think Limp's, like, you have to remember this is a level 1 fissure, so the stun duration here is pretty short, and this was a really, okay, that we were not supposed to see that. Never mind. We were not deserving.
Okay.
We have not earned this. That's okay.
FNG over here. Whisper with the Burrow Strike should follow up with the LSA, and they should be able to get themselves a nice kill.
Yep. But as is always the case with these skill shot stuns like Lina and Leshrac stun, it's half you, half the enemy, right?
Right.
The side steps from both teams made it harder as well, so it's gonna look worse than it really is. And at the very least, they did the fair play thing to both miss entirely. So.
Wait, so what's an E? Like, that's not something that we have in our school systems.
It's between D and F.
You have something between. Okay, yeah.
I don't know. We don't use that grade system in Denmark at all.
Okay. You almost got me there. Cinder knows I am very, very tired.
Wait, D is a failing grade, or is it the lowest passing grade?
F is the lowest passing grade. D
is a passing grade.
Yes, F is the lowest that you can get.
So there's only one failing grade.
Yes.
Ah, okay. I mean, that's pretty simple, I guess.
Yeah. C is average, D is below average, F is failing.
Oh,
Thunder comes out. They've got the meta. Not enough mana here to use that Ravage. I'm not sure, though, if they're going to be able to get this kill. Need someone else.
Where's Stinger Spirit?
Not there. He's over there on the side.
I think he forgot he threw it out, actually.
Well,
it looked like, I don't know what that was. It looked like he was going to try to throw out the Astral Spirit on top of S4 and then stomp, but his Spirit was in the middle of the river. Either that or he was trying to catch Shaker in the back, but regardless, nothing comes from it. Hector's just going to continue farming down here, and so is S4 in the safety of his own tower. Epicenter.
Oh, Whisper, Epicenter, chasing after Nico Baby. Doesn't have... Oh, he does have the sentry off to the side there, but just a lot of damage. Haste Rune picked up. The lift, though, immediately from Schofield. Silence over onto Lina. Fissure coming in from Hans. This is looking like a dead Chris Luck. And Schofield is forced to run away.
Very, very annoying hero for Lina to play against in this stage of the game. Silencer. Lina is all about the spell combo, and you just get hit by Last Word, and everything you're trying to do just gets removed, right? The silence is just way too long, and yeah, easy follow-up from Hanskin with a good fissure. And now they're going to turn this into a mid-tier 1 tower push.
Ooh, they go for the Ravage over onto Stinger.
Oh, that'll do.
That will do indeed, but now, of course, they don't have to worry about having that Ravage. Although I suppose that S4 probably just wants to park himself down in this lane, continue to hit creeps and kind of push out. But Chris Luck, he's making his rotation. LSA is not quite going to connect over here on S4. So he's just going to clean up the creep wave instead.
I thought he might actually continue to chase there, but he's not certain about a couple of missing heroes. Doesn't want to take the risk, but even with a missed stun, his move speed advantage over Tide there was 50, and that's easily enough to run him down and get another stun attempt.
Whisper here. Throw out the slow. Burrow strike forward, just trying to make some space. They've got the Sandstorm, and the TPs are coming, but it's a lot of ground targeted damage as Limpus struck over here in the trees. But Schofield's sitting way too low to be coming up here as well, so FNG will be able to collect himself a kill.
Stealing 0 intelligence, though, as that is tied to Glaives of Wisdom, and he hasn't skilled it. So, no int. No int just yet. Oh, that is a very weak Laguna. That is weak sauce.
Or a very strong Tide right now, currently, you know?
Oh, okay. I mean, the harass is there, but that did not really... I don't think S4 cared very much about that.
Doesn't seem like it.
He's going to heal up pretty fast. Checking whether they warded the camp. Does not seem to be the case, so he is going to go ahead and stack the Ancients.
It's been kind of interesting. We've seen a lot of ultimates coming out with only really one of them. 2 of them, actually, were resulting in kills, right? Because Chris Lucky's the Laguna over our mid, and then, of course, S4 using the Ravage. But we saw an Epicenter that didn't end up getting any sort of kill. And obviously, this Laguna Blade not doing a whole heck of a lot.
I don't really get it. So I'm not sure what they were, what the goal was there. Whether he has Hood procced or activated or not, that kill doesn't really exist. So if they think the harass is worth it, that's one thing, but it's a Tide with a Hood. He's just going to continue farming, so a little bit weird. But yeah, it's about sending a message.
Right, it's the mental warfare. We're not afraid of you, Tide Hunter, even if this does nothing to you.
Tide is like, I'm not afraid of you either, so whatever.
Whisper walking into FNG.
Oh, very slow on the global.
Strike, yeah.
I think FNG was looking somewhere else. He definitely had the time to react there, but it's very common when you're walking out here that you're looking for your target, right? Rather than around your hero, and that costs him his life there. I think Stinger is not going to make his way out of it.
No, I don't think so. I think Limp is way too fast and just runs him down as expected. So we've got the Boots Travel online now for Limp, and he's also got himself, that cloak to start off building into the bigger item.
Schofield has the spell of his dreams this game right now. Well, it could be level 4, but outside of that, this is the spell he would like to have pretty much the entirety of the game. Because Fissure, first of all, obviously with Arcane Supremacy, it's a longer stun than usual, but that's the case for all spells. But it's the way it sets up his team. Fissure is amazing to play with for Terrorblade. It's amazing to play with for Lina. And also great for Sand King to follow up. Even setting up the Elder Titan Stomp isn't bad. So if he can get his hands on this and have a lens and then get the level 15 talent for stolen spells, that is pretty much how he would like to play his hero all game. It's a bit... I think it's almost a bit naive to rely or expect to get Ravage. You can maybe get it once this game, but like we've talked about, there's the global that can cover it. And also just in general, you need to be perfectly placed. You can just anchor smash after Ravage.
Look at these sentries getting dropped. They suspect something's up, though. Ravage comes through. Nico Baby's got lots of damage, but finally able to take down Chris Luck thanks to a nicely placed Fissure. But Schofield with his own Fissure will slow them down a little bit. FNG's a bit separated here. He really would love this kill over on Schofield, and he's going to get it indeed.
None is quiet.
But still no int for FNG. No extra.
That's a lot of damage.
But yeah, like you said, this, we saw the Fissure. Rubik is the king of anything you can do, I can do better. But in this case, Alliance, they just set up so beautifully. You saw the pinch ring movement coming out. They suspected something was up too. If you noticed, they dropped that sentry ward, but no.
Bit too late. So what Beast Coast are going to do now is they're going to try to take advantage of the Ravage cooldown and see if they can push in mid, but Alliance are very set up already with S4 on the Tide. He's going to try to make it difficult for them. Pump faking the Epicenter here, Whisper.
It's a classic Whisper thing to do, though, honestly.
That was a really big buff to Sand King when he started being able to pump fake this. It might not seem like much because it's like, yeah, animation canceling, so what? But a lot of the times in the past, you would start channeling Epicenter and you would find the conditions of the fight changed so much in the first second of your channel that you're like, man, I really don't want to go anymore. And then you had to make the choice of, okay, do I just throw away my 2-minute cooldown, or do I go in for like a suboptimal engage? Now you just have the best of both worlds. You can just always choose if you want to or not. And that's a real feels good for him. Worth noting as well, when you're playing Sand King into Silencer, a lot of the time Sand King wants to stun into Epi. That is very difficult to do against Silencer, because he can just global you, so you kind of have to start with the Epi if you want to get the value out of both. Oh, this is a good flank position from Lim.
Immediately, they'll land the stun. They should be able to burn down Stinger. It's pretty fast, but not going to be fast enough. Another nice fissure coming out from Hanskin will secure themselves a kill.
And he immediately uses Enchant Totem afterwards, if you notice. Obviously not looking to give away fissure at all. We'll try to avoid that in any way possible.
This is a bit spooky. Every time that we have this this Lina alone, I just feel like he has to be prepared. Although the lift up, toss back over on S4. Schofield sitting a bit low here. Whisper's just going to walk away. But yeah, look at this damage coming out from Limp, just hidden over on the side of the tree line. Doesn't even have to show himself. They know he's there, but they don't really want to engage on it right now, as they'll turn around. They have a double damage on Nico Baby, and he's going to get himself a kill.
Yep. Easy pick off on Stinger here, who is still level 5, minute 15. He is having a very rough game on this Elder Titan. 0-4-0. Largely what's gonna bring Beast Coast into this game is Sand King. You have to play around these Sand King stuns in the Terrorblade, but they're scared of taking team fights because of the overwhelming amount of hit Alliance have, so you want to try to find skirmishes, but Alliance have done a very good job at only really presenting heroes that they don't want to go on, primarily the Tide. S4 is always the garbage man standing in the worst lane, and they need to commit so much on this guy relative to the benefit that a lot of the time they just don't really want to do it with their lineup.
Ooh,
Smoke's gonna break.
They find themselves FNG, and I think you're okay with that if you're Alliance, because again, it is your support. They used a smoke for it, and you're able to just continue farming up on your cores.
Yep. And in addition, FNG also spotted them place an observer ward on the hill that he had obsed, so he died for information, not only breaking the smoke, but getting info about this ward. So solid. What Effie was wondering about Lina in terms of both skill build and item build, it seems like it's the exact same, by the way, from Chris Luck this game. He's going travels into BKB, maxed out Fiery Soul. So even with these nerfs to Fiery Soul's attack speed per stack being dropped by 10, this build remains the same. And when you think about it, how big of a change is this really? When you're operating at those attack speeds, how much is 30?
Oh, the Echo Slam gets used over onto Hector. Stunned up, silence, and they'll be able to secure themselves not 1, but 2 kills as they make their way over into the enemy triangle. They know that there's more over here. Schofield gonna try to do whatever he can, but it's pretty difficult because Limp is just outputting so much damage. So eventually they'll just hit him with some lightning, and now it looks like Elder Titan is going to be joining Schofield as well. Oh, and Lina was still here. I thought Chris Luck had TP'd out already, but no, he's just stuck on the tower, and they're just brutal coming out from the side of Alliance.
Absolutely trashed. Like the Sand King's attempt to save the Terrorblade is very admirable, but very unfortunately for Whisper, he blinked into, I think, the aftershock from Enchant Totem. So you're going to see the replay here. We start off with the fissure, and now he's going to echo, and here's the enchant. Blinks right into the immediate aftershock proc, and then comes the global silence, so he can't even get it out himself. So a bit unfortunate there for Whisper, the timing working against him. And after that, the fight's just over, right? It's 5-3.
Yeah, it's one by one. In fact, we're seeing that again with Schofield. Whisper going in, the fissure comes through. They drop the enchant totem. They don't have detection, though, it looks like. They've got their own dust for Nico Baby, but they don't have really anyone else too close nearby that wants to go in on this.
East Coast are not... This seems so uncharacteristic for them compared to what we've seen earlier today. They've done a really good job at connecting their heroes on the plays and playing really fast. But they seem to be going for more solo plays that aren't really likely to succeed, rather than playing tighter together. And Alliance is just punishing that at every turn. All right, Nico Baby has found a target. He needs +1. They're going to bring down the Shaker. This is a very long trek for Hanskin, but might just work out as a BKB. They still have Fissure as well as Enchant Totem, and he's going to go for the Bounty Rune. This is a clean setup. They're
going to be able to lock him down here, and they've got plenty of damage, so he's not going to be able to even trigger that BKB.
Nico Baby's going to grab the Scotty here.
I'm a little surprised that we're seeing Chris Luck. You know, I understand the idea of, you know, having Lina with the boots travel, but when you have something like Clinks in the game, doesn't it make it so much scarier to, you know, be off farming by yourself?
It does, but I think it almost feels like a necessity for Lina Core. If she wants to ramp up, she needs the mobility in order to traverse from camp to camp, especially considering you're playing with Terrorblade, who's going to take up a big chunk of the map. You need to be able to navigate and find your own farm. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with the item builds. It's more about the hero placement. But surprisingly enough, Alliance with a 17-4 lead are only up 3k gold. Like, this is not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination, especially because I think Terrorblade later on in this game will become a problem for the Dire. I don't know if... I've not really seen this matchup. I feel like Clinks doesn't deal with him particularly well later in the game. Burning Barrage is physical damage. Terrorblade has a million armor. You have very late game scaling support in the form of Elder Titan as well as Rubik on Beast Coast side. So even though they've, in my opinion, dropped a lot of unnecessary kills, this game is still very much competitive.
That's one of the fun things, again, like we've seen this Clinks, you know, how many times now? Not very often, especially here on the mainstream. But Schofield, though, ooh, that's so much damage. S4 says, I will take that, thank you very much. But Smoke over on the side of Beast Coast. We'll pop here. Whisper trying to get into a good position. They've got a sentry. There's going to be the global silence, though. BKB coming out from Chris Lucky. He's trying to burst down Limp. Not going to be able to. They follow up with the Ravage. They're going to be able to just get rid of Whisper. As Stinger now is just taking so much damage from Nico Baby. The body blocks are coming out from S4. They don't want to let him even get back inside his own base as they just waltz on in and just smack him with the anchor.
And I know it may sound like a broken record, but that was more of the same, right? They get one hero caught, they try to fight, they get globaled, ravaged, and Terrorblade nowhere to be seen here. So this, in my opinion, this play doesn't really exist even. Chris Luck goes in, pops BKB, drops everything on Leshrac, but it's him. There's no one connecting on it. There's no Sand King stun. There's no Terrorblade hitting yet. So, this is a very, very good
fissure. That goes slam. They'll just wipe K1 off the face of the planet here.
Very nicely done here from Hanskin.
This is great positioning coming out from Alliance and just identifying, you know, we just took a really good fight. We know that Terrorblade's most likely going to be by himself. And just the way that they're not, again, like using every single ultimate just for one fight.
Yep. Well, for the most part, they used everything except Echo. But they don't need to use it if Beast Coast don't show up, right? You just use whatever you have to and keep the rest. But this can get dodgy for Alliance if they're not careful.
Double fissure here, but Whisper making his way onto the backline. So lose Schofield right off the bat. They'll be able to take down Hanskin, take down Stinger. Laguna coming out. Can they finish off Limp? Yes, they can. So S4 now split up. Nico Baby, though, sitting a bit low. He's looking scared. FNG, though, has got his dancing shoes on. Survives a little bit longer, and they might be able to finish up over onto Whisper. As now S4, and he realizes he's got to leave. There's an LSA with his name on it. He is taking so much damage right now. They have the Scotty available over on Ector, and he's just trying to buy a little bit more time. Does manage to juke away, though. Off to safety.
Very nice pipe here from S4. It's going to block the Dragon Slave so he doesn't take damage, and therefore he can blink 2 seconds later and actually get out of there. But yeah, Alliance overstepping a little bit there. That looked dodgy when they started going into the enemy triangle area. Yes, Terrorblade's dead, but you're missing a lot of your key cooldowns, and you don't have the best vision. So Sand King caught them completely by surprise there. Fortunately for them, he didn't hit the
bait. The bait, the lift on Nico. They've got silence, though, coming out.
That's a global use. He's dusted.
That is. They're hunting for Nico, baby. Limp, though, has boots travel. You can see Hanskin also making his descent over to the side. They've get the fissure over onto Rubik. They're just going to try to get rid of Schofield as fast as they can, and they'll be able to take down Schofield and Stinger almost simultaneously.
Yeah,
that outpost,
here,
though.
The outpost is under dire control, and
they never switched it over.
They never switched it over, and again, Terrorblade is just on the opposite side of the map, so they're taking, obviously, I'm not going to blame them for trying to make a move here. You don't have to always bring your entire team, right? That's not really a very good strategy.
Go for the Ravage, but S4 will die for this.
Yep, okay.
And the BKB is completed now for Ector, so now jump forward into the Echo Slam. Can they take out Ector? No, he's got the BKB. He's going to go for the Thunder play over onto Hanskin. He's going to turn around. Chris Luck clicking away. They'll find the kill over on the Earthshaker. FNG, he's got the Spirit right on him, looking for the stop. They'll get the kill, as Whisper has been hunting on these other lines here. He would love to get this kill over onto Limp, but he just doesn't quite have the lockdown, doesn't have the rest of his team with him.
Does this open up Roche? I guess it doesn't. He doesn't have meta right now on Hector, so probably just going to settle for pushing out the wave, finding a bit more farm. Chris Luck will also push out mid. So if nothing else, Beast Coast now are going to get a little bit of a foothold. They've been very pressured in the lanes, but something that Terrorblade does incredibly well is when he wins one fight, he just has this inherent ability to push the lanes really far out, just using illusions to push one wave, using his hero to push another wave, or go for an objective, such as Roshan.
They want to fight this. Look at the teleports coming into the outpost. They have to be careful, though. Stinger is an Elder Titan. This is a very scary place to fight into.
Global, no Ravage, and meta is coming up in 10 seconds. This could be a huge moment for Beast Coast if they play their cards right. If they find any good Blink Barrel Strike on the top of some vision from Elder Titan, for example, and Hector just gets to go to town, this is a potentially very big win for them. Alliance have to be careful. They're doing a good job just buying time. They poked their noses in and backed off, because they would really like to wait a full minute before they fight, so they have Ravage and Echo Slam. Global is available now. That'll help. It is still only level 1.
Again, you have those BKBs up and running over on Beast Coast.
And that really does counter so much of Alliance's strategy, right? Like, their physical damage so far is not overwhelming. Klinks has the Maelstrom, which is going to do almost nothing, just a flat 24 damage if you have BKB. Scotty doesn't give that much damage, and then he has the Dragonlance. This is the same build that we saw Ame go for, but Nico Baby, in order to be a true threat later on, either would have needed some aura, like the Venge aura that they played on LGD strategy, or something like a Daedalus, so that his damage becomes truly scary to deal with. But for now, I think Beast Coast are... When they're in BKB, I don't really see them dying, actually, at this point in time. So that's scary for Alliance. You got to play your cooldowns right.
And they got to play everything just perfectly. They have to be able to stun lock into place, so that way you cannot access that BKB. You cannot get off the Sunder. All of these things. So
right, the stun lock actually has to be there at this point. The global silence into a stun into global doesn't cut it. It needs to be a flat 100-0 stun lock on the Terrorblade, or he will get Sunder off. There's like no guarantee, and he has plenty of easy targets to reach. Alliance, for example, the Tide kind of needs to be in the epicenter of the fight in order to play his hero to its full potential. So there will be a Sunder target. Wow.
Look at that. They have a Daedalus on Chris Luck.
They're just getting it for free.
Yeah. They didn't even, you know, they danced around for a while, but nope, this is just an easy free Roche for the Beast Coast.
Yep.
All right, well, Aegis of the Immortal now on Lina. And they'll be looking to probably do something, probably try to get a pick off and a push.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're on that much of a clock, to be honest. Like, they obviously have this Aegis of 5 minutes, and you want to use it for something. But they could easily play map control for another 3 minutes to hit an additional item timing, like Terrorblade getting his Scotty would be really powerful. You're seeing ET finishing drums now. It might not sound like a lot, but that's a really value item for Terrorblade to play with. Sand King is somewhat closing in on a BKB. Rubik getting Shard. You know, all of these like luxury or feel-good items are coming up in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So you could technically hold your Aegis for this to hit, like, especially the Terrorblade Scotty. I think that's the one you really want to wait for, and then you can look to take your fight.
I just know, after watching a lot of Beast Coast over the years, they're always looking to make something happen. And in this case, they found themselves a silencer, and they'll get a quick cleanup here. We'll follow up with the Yules, though, trying to pull off that dust, but they still have the vision. So Whisper will take out FNG, but Nico Baby will take out Whisper. Mindbreaker now here, found by Chris Luck. It's a nice item, as Hector also has an illusion rune.
Notice, by the way, this detail from Beast Coast. The moment that Whisper has died top to Silencer and pulled up multiple cores, they instantly get into the enemy triangle, right? So they're going to clean this up, and it might not seem like much, but this triangle is worth, let's say, about 300 or 400 gold, and that's 400 gold you're getting and the enemy team isn't getting. So that's, in a way, 800 gold, right? This play. That is worth about the same as they got for the Sand King. So it's a kind of a net zero play in that regard. And all of that gold is going on Hector, so he's going to finish his Scotty now. He's starting to enter dangerous territory. I'm a little bit, when it comes to this late game, especially with the new Klinks, I'm very inexperienced with how this would go, so I can't really like very easily predict how Klinks deals with this. But my gut tells me that Alliance could be in trouble, actually, soon against this Terrorblade, and will really need to execute well. Especially if Beast Coast can start doing some cute force staff plays on the Terrorblade, because the way they kill him is largely off of Ravage and Fissure, right? And it's two stuns that you can very easily separate yourself from as long as you're facing the correct way. So, yeah. even a Glimmer Cape could work wonders here for them. Kind of surprised to see that not being picked up at all on the Radiant side. Rubik is eyeing a Force Staff after having Dagger, and Elder Titan went for the Drum like we already talked about. I feel like Glimmer could provide a lot of additional protection this game for Terrorblade. But
they like to play a little greedy sometimes over on the side of Beast Coast, especially, you know, when you've got Ektor. But they're going to put the pressure down. Nico Baby wandering over. Doesn't have the rest of his team just yet, so they'll take the tower. Sector goes forward. It's going to take a lot of damage. There's the silence. There's the Echo Slam. Can they open the place of Ravage? They've used everything in the kitchen sink on him.
Well, that'll do. There are all the stuns. He's kind of
There are indeed. They see Nico Baby here. He's got to be a little careful, but looks like they go for the dust. They've got the LSA, just trying to put out some damage over into S4. And everyone's just kind of split up very awkwardly in this fight. It feels like they want to take it, but
yeah, Alliance
can't quite figure out the angle.
They've used so much, right?
Okay.
They used
Blink forward, BKB coming out from Chris Lucky wants to punish S4 as Whisper's here. They have the splitter, they take out FNG as well. Whisper is, of course, separated, though, now, as Limp's waiting patiently, throwing out all the damage, gets the kill on Whisper. They'll stun up Nico Baby, but it looks like they want to back off. Nice stomp coming out here from Stinger. Will sleep two of the heroes over on the side of Alliance.
So even though that is a 5v4 without the most farmed hero on the Radiant side, just the flat-out positioning advantage they have and the fact that you've used Ravage, Echo, and Global, it's kind of like you have a dead hero. Oh, that is some good damage.
Ooh, but not enough. Not enough. They can turn it back around. It's not quite over there. All right, there it is. There's the Aegis.
Yes, no BKB.
His luck is coming right back up again. Ektor is here.
Missing the stun timing there. Uncharacteristic from Limp.
Nico? All right, Nico's going to just skelly walk away. As they did pop the Metamorphosis, Hanskin's going to stun up Schofield over here. He's gonna just get himself a kill on Hanskin. He stole Gush, so he had a way to slow him.
And he's got level 15, and you see the talent prioritization right there. He hasn't even taken his first row yet, but goes straight for the 25% stolen spell cooldown. So sitting with that on Gush right now, it's obviously not the spell of his dreams. Ideally wants to get either Fissure, Rack Stun, or Ravage. Those are the three big ones, and Global, but come on now.
He got a kill with it. I think he's... it's not the perfect spell, obviously, but you know what? It served its purpose at the time, so... I think he's happy with that. I feel like now Alliance is trying to figure out exactly how do they approach some of these fights, because they do have a gem online now for the side of Beast Coast. Nico Baby, I've watched him. He's been running around quite a bit, and when they do finally converge, it looks very good. But it feels like they're a little bit, I don't want to say lost, but unclear.
That's, again, to me, that's kind of a symptom of their lineup that they've drafted, is when these key spells are on cooldown, it's just not easy to find these moments of opportunity. They're going to have their spells ready again now, so I think Alliance are considering a smoke play at this point. Aegis has also expired on Lina, so this would be a great moment to get something done. They're going to smoke S4 and keep Leshrac showing in mid to push the wave out. And then I think for Alliance, the dream scenario here is, again, finding Terrorblade and just blasting him. If you can't do that, kill Lina first. And you kind of just have to global the moment you go in. You don't want to risk Rubik getting any key spell or ET making a counterplay. This strategy is only going to last for so long. Eventually, Silencer runs into a similar problem in every game, which is enemy heroes start getting items that can remove silence. So BKB, Lotus Orb, which is the item that's queued up currently for the Silencer, by the way. Or sorry, for the Rubik. Wants to get the Lotus Orb with his current Arcane Boots. So he's about 1,000 and a bit from that, maybe 1,500. When he gets there, he can immediately remove Global and steal a key spell, like Fissure, maybe even Global itself, which would be kind of crazy. An awesome spell to steal against the Dire lineup, but requires very specific positioning. Or, you know, Ravage.
He's got a candy jar where he could just dip his hand in as long as he's in good positioning. And
any of the big ones is going to very likely decide the outcome of an entire team fight. So a lot of pressure and a lot of potential on the same hero. That's Rubik late game usually.
Oh,
K1.
Hector walking into everyone here. Has to be careful. He's got the BKB though immediately. And they're just going to try to push down. Nice fissure though. Blocks him off. Can't quite finish off S4 here. But Nico Baby, even though he's got that BKB, he's going to be able to just barely be able to teleport out. But you can see the damage now coming out from the side of Beast Coast.
Nice Earth Splitter securing the Shaker kill there, but crucial fissure. Without that, Alliance would have lost 2 or 3 cores. So Hanskin definitely doing a good job there. Oh, they have eyes on him. Whisper could maybe find a blink into Yule in 10 seconds here. Hanskin not going to give him a chance, though. Look, notice again, he's covering his tracks, right? He's making sure to use Enchant Totem every time, just in case he's going to get Blink Yuled here, I think.
Yes, he is. Schofield and Sting are also cutting off this retreat, and they'll still be able to take down Hanskin.
And Schofield's like, God damn it, man. You just fissured to run away. Why am I getting Enchant Totem?
Good Earthshaker player right there.
He knows what's at stake here. But yeah, look at that fissure. Without that, Nico Baby is toast.
So toast.
And the Shaker is, or the Tide is 100% dead regardless. So yeah, nicely done. Beast Coast are getting more and more of an advantage though. And keep in mind, this was a game in which Alliance had a huge advantage at around the 20-minute mark. They were 6k gold up, supposedly had about an 85% chance to win the game according to Gabe Newell. Gabe Newell plays at a slightly different skill bracket though, so maybe his graphs are a little bit different from the ones of this game. Also, I guess worth noting that these win probability graphs are, based on data, and there isn't that much data on this kind of game. So I can't really tell you if this was an accurate representation of the game state or not. It probably maybe was in last patch, but as things change, so will the graphs. And yeah, well, whatever way you look at it, it's been a good comeback from Beast Coast, and they're in a great position now to start taking control of the game.
Are you saying that they don't have data on this new and improved Clink that we're seeing here?
Pretty much. Or that they have so little data that it's misleading. Maybe he has had too many easy wins.
All right, well, Alliance, they're smoked up. They're going to start moving around this Roche pit. They have all of the big spells up and running.
Now, does Nico Baby buy the Daedalus, or does he save buyback? I think he buys it. It's very telling about their mentality, what decision he makes here right now.
Right.
If they feel pressured and like this is an all-in and really all-important move, he would buy the Daedalus here and take the risk. But Alliance are saving for buybacks, it seems, taking the safer route. From my perspective, with the information that we have, I think he should buy it here, but we have access to so much information that the players don't, so it's completely understandable he's choosing the safer route. But yeah. Okay, all right. Quick reaction from Whisper. They're getting out of there. He's got the D ward and immediately blinked away from the fissure. This Roshan respawn is all important.
It's very important. We even have the Force Staff actually getting completed now for Ektor. Of course, you also have Schofield's going to be able to use the telekinesis to move him around, but mobility seems to be the key word here for the side of Beast Coast, whereas Alliance is all about that initiation, stun locking, and just removing Ektor from the fight as fast as possible.
Right, so he's got a full pike.
Oh, there it is. There's the Daedalus.
Force Staff is ready for Elder Titan now as well, so that's 2 Force Staffs from 0. And the Lotus Orb from Schofield will also complete now if he sells a little bit. He did the math wrong. No, he didn't. He sold a stick. All right. So there we go. That's a Lotus Orb. So now he can remove Global. There are a lot of things opening up for Beast Coast right now that makes Alliance's execution even harder. The good news for them is they have the Daedalus and Clinks, but man, do their stuns need to land. Oh, S4 are in a really awkward spot here.
Roche is helping a brother out right now as they pop that BKB. The Laguna comes out. S4 is just not going to be part of this fight unless he wants to buy back. Fissure's going to come out over on Nico, but there's the silence.
Fissure. He blocked him off.
He blocked him off, and now they're going to have to try to make this fight happen with half of the team in a weird position off to the side.
That's an excellent Fissure. He blocked him off, apparently. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Hanskin now turning back around. They've got that
stolen
Lotus Orb over there. The stolen Fissure is landing over onto 2.
This is really, really big for the foreseeable future. This is a 9.8 second cooldown Fissure on Rubik with Psychic Headband and Blink Dagger. So all of the fights in this game, for the most part, have been like 20 to 30 seconds long. The big team fights. So he's going to get minimum 2 good Fissures if he isn't the primary target, potentially 3. I can't state enough how important this spell steal could become in this game now. An Alliance really need to try to get the Roshan while Sand King is dead. It looks like that will be the attempted play here. Okay,
but look at the way that Beast Coast is hovering in the general area. And it definitely feels like Alliance, they're feeling a little bit skittish currently. They used a lot of those really big spells, like we talked about. They used the Global, they used the Slam. Ektor He's going to get fissured. Schofield waiting patiently, throws out his own fissure. Forced up, they've got the BKB and that Lotus Orb to buy a bit more time. Chris Luck clicking away over on S4. He needs to get maybe one more hit in there. Can he get over there fast enough? Yes, he can. Down will go S4.
That's a dieback, right? It is. They have 100 seconds power play 5v4 now, and 70 of those seconds will be without Metamorphosis, but there is still that 20-second window for Hector here. And that's big. They can definitely, like you pointed out, with Global and Echo on cooldown, they could go for Roche. They are almost ready again, though. It's actually been that long, and I wonder if they've kept track. I had, like, sometimes we've talked about this, Dota is a game of feel, right? You can't always time every cooldown and pay attention to literally everything. If they're playing on feel right now, I don't think they're expecting these spells to be ready, but they still feel so safe knowing that Tide is dead. They don't care, it looks like. They're just going in. If Hector gets jumped now by any stuns, they're in position to force staff him immediately with the Elder Titan, except now that they're stacking, but they're doing this with the knowledge. It seems like that Alliance, yeah, they're taking the outpost bottom, so they knew that Leshrac at least was not in position, and this will be an easy grab for them. This one comes with a shard.
It's over on Mr. Elder Titan.
He passed it on to Sand King. So he's going to get the Epicenter shard, which gives him
It's nice.
20 more damage per Epicenter pulse, and every 700 distance you move, you throw out an additional pulse, which is currently 130 damage. So with a lot of movement and fights.
Chris Luck. Gonna get found here by Nico Baby. FNG hiding on the side, pops that A on disc. He's cut off. He's got the BKB though, so he turns around, decides he's gonna try to fight, and then he just decides it's time to leave. Ooh, very close. But look at this, they're in the base. Yes, Sector's just taking a tower. No problems here. Still has that Aegis. Rest of Alliance is joining up, but they've already lost a tower and half the racks here. Fissure comes out over on Hector, and they throw one right back out again. He's got the Lotus Orb. He's ready to go back in.
And the silver
damage. Look at the damage on Stinger, though. Ooh, those big crits. Jump forward here, coming out from S4. We'll go in for the Ravage and follow up with the Global Silence. Stinger is taken out immediately. Stinger going to buy back here. The Sunderplay coming out from Hector. He's going to try to just remove this S4 from the game. Fissure getting thrown out. It just buys a bit more time, but Whisper jumping right back in with the Burrow Strike. He's still in Fissures. We got everybody's just cut off back and forth over here. Whisper will fall. Lots of damage coming out from Nico Baby. Oh, but the Echo Zip coming out from Hanskin will be able to stun them. Can they get enough damage off Chris Luck? He's trying to fight here with Nico Baby, as is Hector. They finally managed to take him out. Buybacks are coming out now. FNG and Nico Baby want to be a part of this fight. That's another Sunder coming out. As Stinger has to be very careful here. Nope, he is dead.
Well, Satanic is just the most insane item sometimes. Like, if you saw how much damage Chris Luck was tanking there while having his Satanic running and just attacking whatever he could get his hands on, that was ridiculous that he actually managed to stay alive for that long. But that's Satanic for you. With the right timing, this item is pretty nutty. But man, that stolen fissure is just, it just keeps being value. He's going to lose it in 40 seconds, I think, so he's going to try to have to steal it again. But yeah, big win here for Beast Coast. They get the ranged barracks, they get, was that 2 or 3 buybacks? They got the Silencer as well as, especially the Clink's buyback is big, and it only cost them their own Elder Titan. And almost in a way a blessing in disguise that he dies in this fight, because this second death will obviously tank up the additional respawn timer from the buyback penalty, but it's at a time that it doesn't really matter very much. Like, he's dead for the same duration as Lina. He doesn't have to perform any key task right now of defense. There's no Roche. So
Fissure over onto Schofield. Throwing out yet another one, though. Can they get this kill on Hanskin? Yes, they can. They have to be careful. Schofield.
Oh, the crit.
The crit's coming out as S4 jumps forward over onto Hector. Whisper a little bit off the mark. Does get the dust over onto Nico Baby. But there's just so much damage coming out from this Clinks. This is not feeling good for him at all. He's got to get out of there, and he's got to get out of there fast, but he's not going to be able to as they use the global. Hector just chasing down S4 on the back lines here. Does manage to get the kill. The BKB coming out. It does run out of duration as Lim pops his own BKB and is attempting to flee.
Will they get in range with anything? No, they won't. Gets out. All right. Pretty good from Alliance here. They got the Sand King buyback. It's a decent kill. And I might have to eat my words there. It actually mattered that Elder Titan was dead. It allowed them to make this aggressive play. They didn't get any real structural damage in. The tier 2 mid is still standing, and there was obviously no Roshan. But at the very least, they do force the Sand King buyback, which is a pretty decent victory overall for Alliance there.
is indeed, and it seems like Beast Coast, they want to try to push out these waves, reclaim their jungle, although the outpost is still in control of the Dire here. I hope that doesn't... That's already come back to bite them in the butt once. But they are playing towards the top lane now.
I think part of the reason that Beast Coast don't go and take it here is that it gives information.
Right.
They want to conceal their movement plans right now. And by not taking that outpost, they haven't really... Now it's starting to get very telegraphed, though. Like, if Hector goes and start hitting these barracks, they're not bottom. I'll tell you that much.
There it is, the meta. They're just going to start shredding through this Rax over here. Interesting. Are they... They're just letting them take it. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I think that's a good call from Alliance. It's one lane. They already lost the ranged Rax, and trying to defend this without Shaker could have ended, or without Tide, sorry, could have ended really badly.
I wasn't sure if they were looking like they might try to go for like a wraparound play for like half a second, but no, they're going to just err on the side of caution. Aegis is, of course, got like 10 seconds left on it, so they can wait. They can afford to wait. Beast Coast also realizing, let's not, you know, over push here as Nico Baby stands right on top of a sentry ward. They know exactly where he is.
Man, what a great item Flicker is this game for Hector, right? Like it allows him to swap out his boots because he gets the 35 movement speed from the Flicker itself. He can remove Global Silence. Just a really feels good item for him here. I wonder if he had the free choice in this game if he would take Flicker or the old Spider Legs. I'd actually be curious to see what his priority would be, but obviously after the change to Spider Legs, that's not really an option anymore.
Yeah, the vector targeting on the Flicker is pretty nice. They did have a little bit of the change, though, too, so if you actually get hit, you don't end up going anywhere. But do have, you know, we've got a Refresher Orb over on Hector. We just pick up a Refresher Orb on Chris Luck, too, now.
That's the thing, though. The new version isn't necessarily a nerf. It's situational, whether that's good or bad, right?
It's just different.
If you've taken damage by anything, you know you just have a Dispel that doesn't reposition you, and that can be a good thing.
He could feel it. He felt it in his fingertips, but this is still looking like a very dead Earthshaker. Does have buyback. So they've got that double damage over on Chris Luck. He's going to try to take advantage of this right now. And they're going to farm up the triangle while the rest of Alliance, they are sort of pinned into their base currently because they do need that Echo Slam to take any of these big fights.
Drawing the wrap around here.
Look at this, a jump forward over on S4. Still have that double damage. They've got the BKB over on Chris Luck. They're able to just dodge back into the base, though. Oh, Stinger. Stinger needs to be very careful. Nico Baby, he's hungry. He's on the hunt. Limp closing in as well, but they're also losing their building down in the other lane here. Hector, the old bait and switch.
He is pushing extremely fast. He is so farmed and seemingly not phased.
Not phased at all. Go in for the Ravage. They've got the silence. He's got the BKB, though, too, and he's getting the Sunder off. He's going to just flicker back, join up with the rest of the team.
They used Ravage and Global. That is really bad news for Alliance. This is actually terrible. They really need these spells to pay off, and they've thrown 2 of them out of the window, so now Hector feels like a god whenever he's Lotus Orbed. There isn't much touching him. He has the Refresher Orb as well.
He's got Refresher too, yeah. I mean, they can just rinse and repeat, honestly, because now they don't have to worry about these massive spells. They are going to have the Echo Slam soon, but... that was quite the face.
Seems very focused.
Yeah.
Eyes on the prize. Well, they're very close to the victory here at Beast Coast. They need one more lane of barracks, and then that's pretty much a done deal. Coming back against Mega Creeps and Terrorblade is next to impossible. It's one of the best heroes at having Mega Creeps because it just pushes waves, right? So whenever you are down Mega... Oh, hang on. Might not have time for that. Whisper.
Okay, all right. They see Whisper up here. He's got the Lotus Orb on. They have the vision.
He could stun...
Gonna be...
Oh, he did.
Nope.
But that's it. He didn't really get far from there. That's 2 minutes. Bit of a moment of opportunity for Alliance here, actually. Roshan is spawning in... 3 minutes.
Ooh.
That is...
Means Alliance has to really hang in there. That is something that they definitely need to get. I'm just not sure if the opportunity will present itself. A lot of damage, though, coming out from Nico Babies. That's definitely feeling a little bit spooky. Perhaps they can make something happen, though, and they find themselves a quick pick here over on Stingray. 4 steps forward, but of course those arrows were already in motion.
Let's see Hector.
Oh, Hector's just in the base again. Okay. Hello. Okay. Got that sheep, the lift up. BKB's just going to teleport out. They don't have any way to cancel it, but it looks like our friend Rubik is going to have to pay the price for his friend. They have the Ags completed now for Terrorblade too.
I actually like that play from Hector. I think it's a cool idea. He silver edged into the enemy base, seeing that they made an aggressive move top. So he's thinking, okay, one hero is going to come back and defend bottom, and we can kill that hero with myself and Rubik. But the Leshrac was unfortunately the target that they found, and Limp was very tanky and got the right angle. So he didn't really get the moment of surprise as the silver edge was expired.
I think that was a big surprise too when S4 came forward with that sheep stick. I don't think they were quite expecting that.
Yeah, they were not expecting that either.
It was a nice reveal. Unfortunately, just they end up only with a Rubik kill. They would have really liked to have gotten Hector here.
I don't know if this Hex is the right choice in this game, to be honest.
What would you have preferred?
Well, I'm thinking he could have gone for the Refresher straight away. The tricky thing here is if you... I guess what he wants to do is he wants to blink Hex the Terrorblade and then Ravage, or vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. But what the Hex doesn't protect against is the Force Staffs, right?
Right.
So even if you do get this Ravage out and then Hex, you can still reposition his target, whereas a double Ravage creates this like huge area that you could like blink Ravage, Refresher, and then even blink further behind Terrorblade and then Ravage there, so that any protective area behind that will try to save him is going to get zoned off by Ravage. But with only one Ravage, I don't see it really. You saw their previous attempt bot with Ravage and Global. And it wasn't long enough. They have this one stun duration, which is relatively limited because of the Sanjin Yasha on the Terrorblade, the status resist, and it didn't cut it.
They just have so much in terms of defense, like being able to just shuffle people around, remove things. They've got the BKBs. Like it just seems like very difficult now for Alliance to have the duration that they need to be able to win these fights.
And keep in mind, the Terrorblade is obviously, it's an all or nothing kind of hero in this stage. If you don't 100 to 0 him, it's like you did nothing. He's just going to pop BKB, sunder one of you, and then he has Refresher again. So if you are going for that kill, like 90% isn't good enough. It needs to go the whole way. And
he's got the sunder cooldown talent as well. So it's always going to be up if you don't lock this guy down.
6-second cooldown. Oh, he's going to open on Limp a little bit. Just poking and prodding, backing off with Silver Edge.
Chris Lux standing over on the high ground here. Don't quite see him just yet.
Finally getting the mid-tier 2 tower Alliance 50 minutes in. After the start they had, they were really stopped at one point in their tracks. Oh, how much gold does Hector have? He's eyeing up a Moon Shard next. Oh, he is running into...
Nico Baby's here though. Turn around.
Scotty.
BKB versus BKB. The Scotty, though, is turning his attention over to FNG. Figures he can probably get this kill. And isn't quite able to, actually. Turns around, though, with the Sunder over onto S4. The break just melts over here as Chris Luck joining in. Doesn't quite have the vision over onto FNG right now, but they'll be able to take down Hanskin. That's going to be a buyback from Hanskin. He wants to get back into this fight. He knows that he's very, very needed here, but Nico Baby sitting underneath this ward. They're trying to bait a little bit, it seems. Tidehunter also buying back. Chris Luck looking for the opening. Has Lotus over on him. It does get stunned. It's moved over.
That's another save we haven't talked about. They have the Telekinesis Shard on Rubik, so he can also save Terrorblade when he gets jumped.
They're just going right into the base. Look at this. There's a whole fight going on over here on Chris Luck. They use the Echo Slam on him, but your buildings. You lost your tower.
Oh, it's still not too bad for Alliance here. Forcing out that buyback is a pretty big deal. But Limp, his entire team is slept on the other side.
There's no mana left over on him over here. Oh, look at this. The damage coming out, the Earth Splitter, everything. The right clicks. He's going to have to buy back immediately. Nico Baby running back home to his base. He needs to get in there fast. They've got the Hex. They get the Ravage off. They'll take down Schofield. Chris Luck, Yeon just popping. He's got the BKB. The Sleep is just holding everyone else in place, so they can't do anything as they take down the other Rex. Chris Luck, he's got so much damage, though, coming out from Nico Baby. And S4 will get the kill, but they are... they're looking a little destitute right now because they have mega creeps.
Yeah, Alliance are going to try one desperate shove down mid here. If this push does not work, their chances of winning this game are almost non-existent, specifically because they're against Terrorblade and Alina with Travels. The waves just always going to be in your base. There's always going to be trouble you have to deal with, and the split push threat is too much, so they're going to YOLO it. Straight down mid, there is a Roshan available, but they're not going to stop for it. They're going straight for it. Rapier on Nico Baby, buyback Rubik, and buyback Terrorblade. 90 seconds, no Lina. But there's going to be one hero on defense duty most of the time here. It is currently Leshrac Limp. is going to defend against this mega creep wave coming in the bottom lane.
Going to Sheep, hold into place, should be able to. Can they finish off? Yes, they can. That's a mighty
That's a
hit.
big kill, actually.
That is indeed a Stinger is chasing after S4 Nico Baby over here. He's dishing out so much damage, and they'll be able to take down Stinger as well.
Wait, did they just win?
I don't know. They still have Whisper. Whisper's still alive. It looks like somebody's traveling into the base right now.
Hector's going for the GP on the
Hector
other side.
is going to try to see what he can do here, because they do have to go through. There's just so much damage though coming out from Nico Baby. I don't think he's going to be able to do it fast enough. They're going to try to hold off. No.
Oh
It was a
my
nice
goodness.
try. But Alliance, with this comeback,